What was the closest you've ever been to killing someone? I operate heavy equipment dozer excavators. These things weigh over 30 tons on the light side for perspective. Anyways, we had just started a brine pond project and had just hired some new laborers. They were as green as they come, lol. Anyways, I used my two-way radio to ask them to come over to where I was to tear down a set or barricade so I could proceed. One of the laborers literally ran right up beside my machine without making direct eye contact or radio contact. Industry standard is to do so I can safe out the machine. I was backing up at the time, so I was watching behind my machine. When I turned around to go forward, the laborer literally 2 inches from my tracks. Needless to say, I've never pressed the engine decal pedal as fast as I did in that situation. If I was new to the machine or inexperienced, the guy would have been an empty toothpaste roll on the ground. I had started a grease fire in a pot on the stove while cooking for a date. Panic set in as it was kind of big fire. Only thing I could think of was baking soda would be the only thing to put it out, because that's what they taught us in school, right? Ransacked my cupboards, couldn't find it. Next best thing that came to mind? Dirt from outside. Ran outside to get some dirt, told her not to pour water on it, that I'll be right back. As I'm out there, I hear her scream and a flash of orange. My heart sank and I froze for a second. Did I just kill my date? Back inside, she's fine. Fire is smaller but still going. My walls and ceiling are scorched. I ask her what happened. She replied, she poured milk on the fire because milk is thicker than water. Okay. Anyway, no one was harmed in all this, thankfully. Except my bank account, when my security deposit didn't cover the damages done when I moved out later. Oh well. I do have more fire stories from that apartment. Pretty sure my landlord thought I was an arsonist. Or a dumb kid on his first time living alone, pretending to be an adult. Edit to add, thank you for the all the put the lid on next time recommendations. I now know that's an option. Like I said, I was panicking and wasn't thinking straight. I do now have multiple fire extinguishers throughout my current place. They were gifted to me by family after I told them this story. Those were fun birthday, Christmas gifts that year. Also, there was no second date and we did not smash, lol. When I was like 14 or so, I was on a swing at a park. I was going about as high and fast as that swing could possibly go. A kid who couldn't be older than 2 wandered directly in front of me as I was coming down. I slammed my feet on the ground and stopped myself about an inch away from her. My hands started to bleed from the chain, but at least I didn't drop kick a 2-year-old all the way across the park. The mother saw the thing happen, but she was too far away from us to do anything in the moment, but she ran over crying and thanking me for stopping. When I was 15, I carried my 2-year-old cousin down a flight of stairs, when I tripped and we fell down 3 steps. She fell on the back of her head and I on top of her. It took a split second before she started crying and I thought she was dead. Thankfully, she was fine, but I'm so glad she didn't fell harder or over the handrail, or else she would have fallen at least 3 meters and would probably be dead. Edit, kinda reassuring that stuff like this seems to happen a lot and not just to clumsy 15-year-old me. Stepdad spit in my mom's face after not having abused her in over 5 years, so I shoved him. He said he was gonna come back and kill us and ran out the door, so I followed, picked him up from behind, carried him off the porch and slammed him head first onto the cement and then just beat the shit out of him while neighbors came out, got arrested, and got my first felony. Driving tired once, had a microsleep and woke up driving down the wrong side of the road. Fortunately it was late at night, no traffic around, but could easily have killed myself and my passenger. Never driven tired since. I was close to choking a uncle to death. It was after my grandpa's, his father, funeral, and he was ordering all his siblings to give him their parents' house and land. He was this boss that would sell his own kids for money, and he left his first wife for another woman and left that woman for a rich old woman. Argument ensued and emotions flared and he insulted my mom and I wanted to end this man's life to free us from his bullshit. I was stopped but he had to be taken to the hospital for damaged neck and throat. Mom was in an abusive relationship for about 8 years. About 6 years into it, me and my ex stopped by to pick mom up as she said the guy was drunk and she wanted to leave. We arrive and as I approach the front steps I look up into the glass door and see a pair of hands shove my mother out of view. She went fucking flying. I raged out, grabbed an axe that was nearby. Dude would chop trees on property and sell bundled firewood, as the guy stepped out front and downstairs. I chased him around the perimeter of the property whilst almost blacked out in anger. A buddy of his who was staying there temporarily was on the side of the house smoking a cigarette and tackled me. Luckily, the axe didn't penetrate my chest seeing as I landed face down with the axe pinned against me. Could have been all types of messy in 2 ways. Fast forward about 2 years and abusive guy gets into car wreck and passes away about 2 months after I got into car wreck on same street in a similar truck and walked away with cuts and bruises. When I found out my grandfather raped my little sister, I was ready to murder him. I have bipolar and PTSD which caused a lot of serious rage since it was unmanaged at the time, and I think the only thing stopping me was not knowing where he lived at the time since I've never been close to my family. Never felt that kind of rage before or since. The old fucker seems to have poorly managed diabetes so I'm settling with being happy he's suffering for the last years of his life. And honestly glad I never made that confrontation because I was only like 20 at the time and I would still be in prison. Thankfully she has been able to accept her childhood trauma and not let it rule her life. I honestly think I'm more bothered by it than anyone else in my family, and have even been told I need to learn to forgive him in the spirit of Christianity, even though I'm agnostic. No. I will hate him until the day he dies, and only then will I feel true peace about it.
Again for today guys, hi again. I really hope you enjoyed, and if you like it, don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button.